Welcome back to Talking Baddies. My name is Leah, and this is Lexi.
Hello.
How are you doing today, Lexi?
I'm good. How are you, Leah?
I'm so good.
Good. Good to hear.
If you could eliminate one food
Oh,
item
okay.
so that nobody could ever eat that food again, you would destroy it. What
Crush
food
it.
would it be? Yeah,
Would people know that I
that's a good
eliminated
question.
it, or is it like disappeared from their memory so they don't know?
That's a good question. I didn't think that far.
I need to know the details of this before I
Yeah, I
answer.
didn't think you would need to know more than that. Okay, let's say you snap your fingers, the food is gone. They still remember the food, but they don't know that it was you that did it.
Okay, so I'm not to blame for this
Yeah,
missing food.
you're safe.
The first thing that came to my head was olives.
Really?
I don't like olives. I don't like them on pizza.
I don't like them on pizza.
I don't like when people put them on their fingers and eat them off their fingers.
That's my favorite pastime.
Oh, sorry. It wasn't me.
I know. You're lucky we don't know it was you. The
But I
olive
will always
people.
feel live with that guilt.
That's true. Anytime anyone ever says, "Whatever happened to olives?"
I feel like I have no idea.
That's so weird. Someone snapped their fingers, they're gone. Weird.
Can we talk about something else now?
Mine is chili.
Chili?
Yes.
Why?
It's horrible. Disgusting. The worst thing ever.
Oh my goodness, that was intense. So like, there's so many different kinds of chili. You would just eliminate all
All of
chili.
it. Everything that can be classified as chili is gone.
Hmm. Okay.
Vanished.
That's like a lot of foods, though.
Well, the foods are still there.
Okay.
Like, you
Just when
still
they're
got the meat, you still
combined.
got the beans, the tomato, whatever's in chili. You can still have them
Mhm.
separate,
Mhm.
but not together.
Your choice is a little more selfish than mine, I think.
I don't care.
I hate
I
chili.
hate chili. I don't want to ever see anyone ever eat it.
Enjoy it or
Yeah,
anything.
no, I
Do
just,
you want people to know it was you?
yes. They need to know it was me. I'll announce it. Everyone,
Oh my gosh.
I've made the executive decision to get rid of chili. It's illegal now.
And you're so proud of
Yeah.
that decision you made.
Waiting for the applause.
You're welcome.
I did it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was a good question.
Thank you. Before we get into today's topic, a little disclaimer. We are not experts or professionals. We are very much amateurs and currently struggle with these issues. We like to be as open and honest as possible, so some of what we say may be triggering to some. Lexi,
Yes.
do you have a self-love win from this past week?
I do. On Sunday, well, actually, for a couple of months, I've been wanting to cut my hair off, but I've been too nervous to, and on Sunday, I just decided to do it. And my hair is kind of like a security blanket, but I cut it, and now it's this long, and it was like almost down to my belly button.
It was?
Yeah,
Dang.
I
That's
cut
long.
off like this much.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Was it just a random, you were sick of it, so you hacked it off moment? Or had you been thinking about it for a while?
Yeah, well, yeah, I've been wanting to do it for like a couple months, but I've just been too scared to.
I'm the same way with my hair. I cut it short once for right before my mission because I didn't want to have to get my hair cut while I was on my mission. And I hated every second of having short hair. I just felt so uncomfortable.
How short was it?
It was just to my shoulders. I've never gone shorter than that ever. I don't unless like when I was a kid I had short hair, but as a adult I've never had short hair.
Yeah. I think for me, I'm really self-conscious about my chest. And so like my long hair like would cover my chest.
Oh.
I would like want it to be not as noticeable.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Cuz for me it's about wanting to appear more feminine
Mhm.
because I'm self-conscious have always been self-conscious that I'm like too large and manly.
Mhm.
And so long hair to me represents femininity.
Yeah.
And I'm nervous to cut my hair short because it takes in like my subconscious mind it takes that away
Right.
and puts me at risk of being called a man.
Yeah. No, yeah. long hair and femininity are tied
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, they definitely are culturally synonymous.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the right word?
I don't know.
Okay.
I like it though. Sounds good.
Thank you. I wrote it down and wanted to include it in the
Yeah.
podcast somehow.
Leah, what about your win?
I thrifted the cutest dress at a market the other day. It was a denim dress, and I wore it yesterday, even though my legs are super hairy right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I usually am on top of like getting waxed. Like I don't miss an appointment, but my dog has to get surgery in the next couple weeks, and that's a lot of money. So I wanted to save a little bit extra, and I skipped my waxing appointment, and
Mm-hmm.
here we are like
It showed. Just kidding, I did not notice at all.
That's the thing is like people don't notice.
Yeah,
But it was this huge deal for me in the morning,
really.
like debating my legs are hairy right now, and it's even a long dress. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not like it's to my knees.
Right.
It's like a maxi dress almost, a midi
Could
dress.
you like just see your ankles and you were like,
Well, I was wearing tall boots too, or like ankle boots.
so you couldn't see your legs at all?
You could see like 4 inches of my
Oh
leg
my gosh.
from like here to here.
Like, I need to see your legs. Oh my gosh, you can't even like see. You're like
It's
blonde.
so hairy. It's like
It keeps you warm.
yeah, I'm very warm. Too warm. I want to be cold. No hair on my legs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a win for me. In the past, I would have never.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it is just 4 inches of my leg showing, it's
Mm-hmm.
too much.
Do you ever shave?
Not anymore, not since I started getting waxed. The maintenance of shaving was too much and it would make my hair grow back really dark and thick.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
yeah, so getting waxed, my hair has gotten a lot thinner on my legs and it comes back blonde.
Mm-hmm.
Before it would come in like black.
Mhm.
So I think that's why it was so hard for me at first, because like you could visibly see the hair on my legs. Now not so much with it being blonde and thinner, but
Isn't that crazy? Like, we can't feel comfortable unless our legs are like completely bare, but it's just like such a normal thing to like
Yeah.
have hair on your body.
it goes against human nature to
Yeah.
shave your legs.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like arms, like we walk around with hair on our arms, most of us.
Yeah, and that's fine, but not in our armpits.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Yeah, it is interesting. The double standard.
It is. So we're approaching Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
What is your mindset usually as you approach the holidays in regards to your body image?
I think like September, October, I'm like, the thought comes to my head like, okay, I don't want to gain weight this holiday season. And then
Yeah.
I try to like not think that way. Like those thoughts are involuntary almost, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I'm on the same page as you. I start thinking like I don't want to gain weight. I got to make sure my eating is okay on my normal days so that I can have these bigger meals for holidays. And then I have family here,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have family in Spokane now through my boyfriend. And so when I lived in Spokane, I would travel back here for holidays. And now that I live here, we're traveling back to Spokane for holidays. So it was always like a big, like, I haven't seen these people for a year. I am nervous about how I will present myself, my body.
Mm-hmm.
That was a weird way to say that, but just like being self-conscious of how much weight I've gained or if they think I look different or like I'm not taking care of myself or whatever it is, that always crosses my mind without a doubt, without fail, every year.
Editing Leah here. The next 2 minutes of audio are really bad, but don't worry, it doesn't stay like that.
I've never had to like, I've always been close to family, so I've never, I guess like extended family. I haven't seen them for a while, but I don't know, I'm not close to them, so I don't really care what they think about me. I just like have never had to deal with visiting close family after a long period of time and like being worried about what I look like just because I'm around them all the time. So they've seen me like change, you know?
Yeah, they're already they already know you.
Mhm.
It's a hard emotion to navigate because we actually found a Reddit post that's really interesting that talks about this that we wanted to share today. But it's so emotionally devastating to feel like they're gonna judge me because I put on weight. So, like I said, we found this Reddit post that we wanted to go into. It's from a year ago, and the title of it is "Showing Up to a Family Event After You Gained Weight?" question mark. And it's on the subreddit Lose It.
Okay, the TLDR. I gained weight instead of losing it because she was trying to lose weight for a wedding of her cousin. Feeling super embarrassed and uncomfortable in my body. My cousin gets married and I don't know if I should still fly there even though it feels like a nightmare.
It's so sad.
It's really sad.
And there's parts in the post that are just so emotional.
I would love to have your advice. I have a flight tomorrow and sitting here in tears with no idea if I should take it or not.
So that kind of shows you how devastating it is to her that she has put on weight instead of losing weight for this wedding.
She's
cousin's
like
wedding.
so torn about whether to go or not.
Yeah, and she says at one point in the post, should I choose my family and go to the wedding or should I choose myself and stay home? And I thought that was a really interesting mindset to have,
Mm-hmm.
that like by staying and choosing to avoid this event because you're self-conscious of your weight is you choosing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on this post?
So I was reading a lot of comments where people were like saying you should just go, have a good time. One, that's a lot easier said than done. And then two, I feel like a lot of people end up not going to things because they're self-conscious of something. And I don't think people need that added pressure of feeling guilty for not doing something, or like people saying like you should just go and have a good time. Like hearing that something like that is so easy for someone and then it's so hard for you is another feeling of guilt, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, like if you're not able to go, don't also feel guilty about it. Just like reevaluate and try to, I don't know. But
Yeah. I get what you're saying because for this person, it's obviously so hard for them. They're paralyzed with fear. They're in tears the day before. And for people to say, just go and have fun, that person probably wouldn't be able to just go and have fun. They'd be thinking about it the whole time. Like it's so hard for them and it's so at the forefront of their minds that if they do go, they'll still be nervous the whole time. And so for someone else to say, just go, it adds to the already pressure of feeling like you want to go, but paralyzed with fear and you can't. And like it adds, is that what you're?
Yeah, and also someone was like, your cousin will be so sad and like devastated if you don't go. That's just another guilt point. Like you're gonna feel guilty, but also I don't think the cousin would be mad, you know, like if the cousin understands, like the cousin will love you either way, you know. They of course want you there, but they're not gonna like make you feel guilty for not going. I mean, I wouldn't, but maybe some people would make you feel guilty for not going. But
Yeah, I feel it's really interesting that you say that because I didn't think about it in that sense. I was like on board with the comments that were saying you should just go, your family will miss you, because that's where my mindset was at when I was reading her post, like just go. It's in reality your body doesn't matter, they don't care about your body, and this is your own, I mean ideally this is the only time that one cousin is going to be getting married. There might not be another wedding and you would have missed out, but that's thinking from the perspective of the other people that will be in attendance, like oh they will miss you, they'll be sad you didn't come. They'll, instead of thinking from the perspective of the person that is trying to decide if they're going to go or not, they're the person with the really disordered thoughts, if that's okay to say. And so for them, that doesn't help. It's not helpful.
right.
Because they already are struggling so bad with it. They need to make the decision for them and not on behalf of other people's feelings. That's really interesting.
I think taking the pressure off, like not thinking, oh, you'll have such a good time, like go and see your family, they'll be sad if you don't go. Taking that pressure away will make it easier to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I had a hard time going to school because of like my anxiety, and when I would hear my friends be like, just go, like we miss you, it's okay, like we're sad you're not here, that just made me feel like so much guilt for not going. But when I just forgot about like what other people were thinking, and like it was a little bit easier to go. I don't know,
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I feel like I understand. So basically, having them be neutral about it,
Mhm.
either way, is what helped you feel more comfortable coming,
Mhm.
going to school. And like in the wedding scenario, if instead they were to say, "We love you either way, we understand that this is hard," and be neutral on the decision instead of like begging them to come or say,
Yeah.
"Just come, it'll be fine," that takes the pressure off the decision
Mhm.
because there's no expectation
Mhm.
there.
You can say what I'm thinking so much better than I can say what I'm thinking. I'm glad you're understanding what's coming out of my mouth because I don't even understand it.
I'm the translator.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. And it's just interesting because that's not where my mind went. Like there was one comment that going along these lines that I really liked, but now I'm thinking I'm just going to read it. It says, "I am so sorry you're struggling with this so much. That sounds really hard, and although I don't know you, I'm sure you don't deserve to feel this crappy. I would gently challenge your framing of this problem. To me, it doesn't sound like it's a choice between choosing other people, going to the wedding, versus choosing yourself, staying home. To me, it sounds like a choice between loving yourself right now, going to the wedding, and punishing yourself, staying home." So, what are your thoughts on that?
It still like puts so much guilt around staying home when I feel like so many people choose to like stay home from things and they're just at home feeling like garbage about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know what else to say. What are your
Okay.
thoughts on it?
Well, when I first read it, I was like, yes, I agree that choosing to stay home would be punishing yourself for not having lost the weight. But in another perspective, it's not that going to the wedding is loving yourself and staying home is punishing yourself, because if it was me, and I've been in this position, not with my cousin's wedding specifically, but like I've through high school, college, I've always had these instances where I'm like, I don't want to do a certain thing because I'm not comfortable about my body and like insecure about it, which like stepping back from the situation is obviously not a good thing. And you want to be able to tell the person, like, stop thinking about it, just go and have fun. You'll regret not going. But even if I went, I would be thinking about it the whole time and uncomfortable, and it wouldn't be fun. And so
Mhm.
it's not like I'm loving myself by going to the situation necessarily. It's like to me, that would feel like the punishment,
Mhm.
going and then having to be anxious and insecure the whole time versus staying home. And if the family really loves you, them being okay with that decision and you feeling at peace with it and not having to put yourself in an uncomfortable spot.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I do feel like whenever I've pushed myself to do things that I'm uncomfortable with, I typically don't regret it. I am happy I did whatever was hard for me. But I think you need to love yourself whether you're able to push yourself and do that or you need to take a step back and you're not able to do it this time. You need to
Yeah.
approach both with love, you know?
Yeah, I really like that. Loving yourself either way if you can't do it or if you can. And obviously, being able to push yourself and go, you might have a good time and you might be able to look back fondly on photos and your family would be happy that you're there. But sometimes you have to be okay that mentally you're not there. I think that's really important and a good callback to one of the points that we talked about in our last episode about loving yourself through the process, that you might not always be able to do the hard thing, or you might not always be where you are mentally or where you want to be mentally, but that's okay. And it's a long journey to get there, and you might fall back, you might take a step forward, whatever, but
Yeah.
that's a really, I like that point. I do just want to read a little bit more of what this person said, basically going into why they think that going is loving yourself and staying home is punishing yourself. They said, "Why do I say that? It sounds like you believe that you don't get to enjoy anything unless you are good enough. That mindset leads people to deny themselves fun experiences, new clothes, even the possibility of finding love until they reach some arbitrary number on the scale. A mindset of punishment and deprivation often backfires because we take comfort in food and then end up gaining even more." So it's hard for me because I understand what they're saying. Like we said, denying yourself fun experiences because you don't feel good enough or you're not comfortable in your body it's hard. It's like that in and of itself is a sad thing. So I don't know. I guess like where's the balance of being able, I mean, I guess it's just loving yourself, like you said, like either way, being able to be okay with your decision.
I saw a couple comments where people were saying they were in the exact same position. And I think it's comforting to know that other people are going through the exact same thing as you, and just getting out of your own head and focusing on other people, like specifically at the wedding, like everyone's thinking about themselves and like how they're being perceived by other people, and like recognizing that will help you like get out of your own head and just focusing on other people.
Yeah, I wrote something down really similar to that. So I wrote, I think about it every single time I see or visit someone new. It's it being how they'll react to my body, whatever size it is. It's honestly been a major motivating factor for me throughout my health journey. Gotta get fit and shock people when I visit, but why do I care if they care? And if they care, that means they are insecure about the same exact thing. It's a projection of all our own insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, everyone is thinking about themselves. We're all like, we're not alone in this wanting to impress people when we go back and visit, or wanting to make a good impression or whatever it is. And I mean, in reality, the people probably aren't thinking about you, but if they are, then that's just a reflection of their mindset. And that means they're probably insecure about where they're at as well.
Mm-hmm.
That they would care about what you look like
Yeah.
is kind of weird.
Yeah. And I think it's very, like, what's the word? Where you feel alone.
Isolating.
Isolating to feel like everyone's watching you, and it feels like you're the only person feeling that way.
Yeah. Main character syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah. But everyone's doing the exact same thing, and you're not alone.
Yeah.
I wrote down your body's not a project.
Ooh.
I think because someone said, like, go to the wedding, enjoy yourself, and then come home and start working on your body and start counting calories. And
Yeah,
stuff.
I saw that one. I didn't like that one.
I didn't like it either. Like, if you're not happy in your body right now, you're not going to be happy when you've lost 30 pounds.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I have actually recently lost some weight, and some days I feel really good, like knowing like, oh, I've lost X amount of pounds, and like feeling accomplished about that. But at the same time, I am still very much just as insecure as I was before the little bit of weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
And I still feel just as huge as I felt back then. And I still, like, my mindset is very much the same, even though I'm like down a pant size or down a shirt size or whatever it is. And one of the first times I did keto with my boyfriend, I had lost a lot of weight then too, and got down to my smallest weight since like high school. And I still felt like I had so much weight to lose. Like, I feel like huge is like a bad word to say, but that's how I felt. I felt huge still. And I look back on photos of that and I'm like, I was so skinny. I was so slim. Like, me now is like, oh, that's the perfect body. But me then was still chasing the feeling of like, I did it. I made it. I'm here. I've got I finished the project, when that's not the case. Like, you have to work on the mental.
Yeah, I feel like you'll never get to that finish line or like that perfect body. That you're always gonna be like chasing something, as long as your focus is on the way you look.
So going and having fun at the wedding and then just planning on counting calories when you get home, I feel like that just feeds into the diet cycle of like, okay, I'm gonna diet when I get home, so
Yeah.
I'll just pig out now, eat everything I want, drink as much as I want, and then I'll be good when I get home. And it just,
I'll be happy
yeah,
when I'm home and
yeah.
dieting.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not good. And it's a hard cycle to break from, because it's always like, oh, I'll just have this treat today and then I'll be good for the week, or like it's always pushing off what never mind.
Okay. Never mind. I've been there before. So, how do you feel content with yourself right now? How you are right now?
Like, do I feel content, or how would I?
Yeah, how do we get to the point where we
Oh.
feel good where we're at?
I don't know.
I don't know
That's why we're
either.
doing this podcast, because we don't know. I would love to sit down with some kind of therapist, or even like people from the body positivity movement. I just want to hear everyone's opinions on this. I want to hear the expert opinions. I want to hear the lived through it and healed from it opinions, because I can only say and speak to my own experience. And I think for me to be able to get to the point where I'm content, it feels impossible because I've struggled with it my whole life. And, I want so badly to be at that point and see myself the way people who love me see me and not tie any worth to where my body is at, whether
Yeah.
it's I've gained weight, lost weight, whatever it is. I think it's something that takes for people who have struggled with it, it would take a lot of practice, a lot of actively implementing strategies and like actively working on it. I don't know.
Yeah. It's hard because in every other aspect of our lives, we're constantly trying to get better. With our jobs, we're trying to move up the ladder or make more money or grow a family or, like buy a house. And it's hard to not put that pressure on the way we look, like constantly wanting to look better.
Especially with like New Year's coming up, there's gonna be so much, and we want to do a whole episode about this, but there's gonna be so much in the media and from companies and ads and stuff about make 2024 your year, that you'll become the best version of yourself. And I think it was a TikTok. I used to post about, I was into bodybuilding for a minute there and I was sharing my journey, but I was reminiscing. So I found this quote. It says, "Healing is not becoming the best version of yourself. Healing is letting the worst version of yourself be loved." And I think that is where becoming content with yourself would stem from. And healing would be, like we've talked about, being okay with not being your best and not always chasing after your perfect body or the best version of yourself. Making 2024 is my year.
I like that. I read this somewhere. Real health is not measured by the way you look.
You're so worried about other people. I mean, the reason we don't want people to recognize that we gained weight is because gaining weight is attributed to a lifestyle. When you gain weight and someone sees you, you're going to assume that they think you're just pigging out every single day. You're not working out. You don't care about yourself. You've let yourself go. When in reality, they have no way of seeing what your actual health is like by looking at you. You could have put on weight, but you're more active than you've ever been, or you're more in love with yourself than you've ever been.
Yeah.
Just because you look a certain way doesn't mean you're not healthy.
Right. Like the media has pushed that health is looking a specific way, when in reality it's how you feel.
Ow!
Move.
We actually hate each other in real life. We're just in this for the
Gosh.
money. Freaking hate
So
you.
annoying.
Anyways, like, see?
We've been enemies since the 5th grade.
Yeah. Which is exactly why we thought we should do a podcast together.
I want to touch on someone's comment. They said that use the photos from the wedding as before photos for when you go home and lose weight.
Yeah, I saw that.
I thought that was an interesting comment. Yeah, what did you think about it?
I was like, okay, like if she loses weight and can look back on the photos and see the difference, I could see that being cool. And we could do a whole episode about before and after photos and just stuff like that in general. If that's your mindset going into a situation, like, I look so terrible, these are going to be my before photos, that's not healing, that's not peace, that's not, you're going to feel so uncomfortable taking those photos. Like, I think it's a decent approach, I guess. They're just trying to relate to the person and be like, if you go, these will be great before photos. But it's so damaging and kind of crazy and so sad. Yeah.
I agree. Here's a comment. If girl, wear all black with a belt around you waist and showing off whatever is skinnier. You try it.
Let us know if you try that. If girl, try black belt, skinnier.
But it's sad because it's just pushing the idea that skinny is equal to better.
Yeah, here's how you look skinnier.
Yeah.
You wear black and a belt around your waist. If girl.
If girl, of course.
That comment is crazy. We should make that the title of this video.
Yes.
A lot of these comments are just saying what we've talked about like this one says, I would be crushed if someone didn't want to attend an important event in my life because they had gained weight. Before doing this, I didn't see a problem with that. I was like, yeah, I would be crushed which I would be crushed if my mom said I've put on,
Well, use your cousin.
if my cousin said, I don't want to come to your wedding because I've gained weight, I think I wouldn't be crushed. I would feel sad for them that that's how they feel. But I think after talking this through with you, my reaction would be I love you either way. Do what you feel is best. No pressure.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people could approach it with that compassion, though.
Yeah.
If they're the ones getting married, like, it would be hurtful.
Yeah, which is why I was saying if it was my mom or a sibling that said, I can't come, I've gained weight, I think that would be really hard to navigate. And mostly you would just feel, I hate it when my mom makes comments about feeling self-conscious or not good enough when I'm like, you're perfect. You're amazing. You're my mom. I love everything about you. I want you to see that.
Yeah.
And so if someone close to me was like not wanting to attend my wedding because of weight, I think I would try really hard to let them know that I don't care about your weight. Like that's not what we see. We love your personality. I love you because you're my mom, not because you're skinny or fat or whatever it is.
It's so hard to like internalize those positive thoughts and like what the people closest around you are saying about you. It's hard
Yeah.
to accept that.
Yeah.
Like how you were saying to your mom, all those kind things. Like you hear them, but like just feel
That's
like they're
so
just
true.
words, you know. But
Yeah.
you genuinely are saying those things.
Yeah. Like with my entire, what's the saying?
Being.
Yeah, I love you.
Mhm.
But my mom has said those things to me when I've expressed my insecurities to her. And you're right, it's just words. I'm not mentally in a place to accept that. So maybe it is just the most important thing if you have someone approach you or say they don't want to come, to accept that and express neutrality.
You have no idea what other people are like going through or
Yeah.
feeling or experiencing.
Yeah, and you don't need to add more pressure. Like, well, I would be devastated if you didn't
Yeah.
come. That totally adds more pressure.
Mhm.
You're absolutely right about that. So interesting. Like, my mindset has completely shifted
Really?
from where I was. Like, I looked up an article. I was coming in wanting to focus on inspiring people to go to the wedding. That was my approach. Found an article with advice about accepting your body and how to start doing what you've been putting off because of insecurities and stuff. And I wrote down this quote: you can experience joy in this body, pleasure, success, and more in this body. Know that you deserve all of this. Your body deserves all of this. That is part of body acceptance. And I really liked that, but I think the other side of things with reading it now after we've talked is you can experience joy in this body and you deserve to, but it's okay if you're not there. And as someone who loves you, it's okay if you're not there. I love you if you're here or if you're not here. And yeah, it's just I wasn't expecting to like change my opinion.
Yeah. I do think there are times where you can push yourself and like go do something out of your comfort zone. Like I'm not saying always just stay home if it's uncomfortable, you know?
Yeah. The reason I was coming at it from that perspective is because I went through a couple years after getting diagnosed with depression and anxiety and starting medication that I had it in my mind that I needed to avoid everything that gave me anxiety. So I got a work from home job. I stopped going out. I started saying no to things that gave me anxiety. And for a while, it was really freeing. And it was great to avoid these things that had put so much pressure on me. But by the end of a year or two, I felt like I had turned into a blob.
Yeah.
By not physically, like mentally, because I hadn't pushed myself and I hadn't tried to do hard things and I had avoided things that gave me anxiety. And so this year, actually, at the beginning, I made a commitment to myself to like say no to everything.
Even more things.
To take it to the next level. We're becoming a vegetable this year. to push myself and do more things that are hard for me. And as a result, like I'm doing this podcast, I started a business, I've done markets. Like this has been a really incredible year for me. And so I am also really passionate about doing those things that are hard.
Yeah, I agree. This year has been amazing.
Yeah.
I have more friends than I've ever had. And like I started a business and and that's because I've always been pushing myself out of my comfort zone and trying to do better. But when I am not able to or I need to stay home, it's that guilt is not beneficial at all. Like putting
Yeah.
any type of like guilt on yourself.
Yeah.
And then it's also gonna make it even harder to push yourself the next time because you've been feeling guilty. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like a cycle.
Yeah, and that's probably where the balance is when you do say no to something that gives you anxiety, or you do decide to stay home from something because you were too self-conscious about whatever the event was. Like bowling, I hate bowling.
Why? Because you suck at bowling or something?
I'm an incredible bowler.
Are you really?
No. I was for like a week. I was going with my family very often, and like I had learned how to do like a
A little trick flip.
little
thing?
trick flip backwards. No, it was some kind of like spin curveball or
Yeah.
like whatever. And yeah, but bowling is one of those activities that is hard for me to be excited about because everyone watches you walk up.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone watches you bowl, which is an awkward body movement in general. You have this huge, heavy ball. Your fingers might get stuck in it.
Yeah.
It's kind of gross, but it's like this awkward thing. And then after you bowl and see how you did, everyone
Turn
watches.
around and everyone's looking at
Everyone's
you.
watching you either fail or if you got a strike, you have to react like, yes,
Yay!
I got a strike.
It is so awkward.
It's so
When you
awkward.
break it down like that,
Yeah.
it's so awkward.
It's a very awkward activity to take people to go do. So that's something that I have said no to in the past because I'm like, I'm very self-conscious.
Yeah.
I know everyone will be watching me do these very awkward things,
Yeah.
and I don't want that.
I 100% know where you're coming from.
Okay.
Or like when you turn around and you get a strike and like no one's watching.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the am I doing here?
Yeah. Like and you just have to say you missed it.
Yeah.
I got a strike. Like, do you celebrate even though no one's watching?
Like it's bad when they are watching and it's bad when they aren't
Yes, it's
watching.
so awkward, and you're like, yeah, bowling is
Yeah. It's not it.
It's not it. I'll keep saying no to bowling. Although if it was just me bowling, it's fun. Like
Do you go bowling by yourself?
I've never gone by myself, so I don't know why you just called me out on my bullshit.
Oh my gosh.
I imagine it would be fun to bowl by myself in an empty bowling alley, like no one even in the lanes, like just me.
Just you.
Yeah, then I think I could really let loose and
Yeah.
have some fun
That's
with it.
awesome. I'm going bowling. Oh, who are you going with? Just myself?
It's me. I rented the whole place out for me. So, how are you feeling after talking about this?
I feel really good.
Me
I
too.
feel like I need to work on talking, but and forming my thoughts into words, but
No,
I
you're
feel like
great.
you understand what I'm trying to say, so
Yeah,
it works.
yeah. No, I think we make a good pair for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked what you brought to the table today.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciated your perspective on things. You changed my opinion. Like I said, I had a completely different approach coming into this, and you completely changed my opinion on things and my mindset. And I feel like moving forward, I want to approach everyone's decisions with neutrality and like not just think about my body image and my insecurities, but think about other people and how they feel about theirs too, and try to not honor that, but try to be accepting and as loving as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to add any additional pressure to anyone. So if anyone does say they feel uncomfortable or self-conscious, I just want to let them know that I love them either way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be really important for me moving forward.
Yeah, like approach people with empathy and understanding. And I think I want to show that love to myself in situations and like
Yeah.
just be more compassionate towards myself. Like, if I feel like I need to like take a step back, that's okay.
Thank you for pointing that out too.
Mhm.
That's just as important. Applying the same compassion and empathy to yourself. It's probably the hardest part,
Mm-hmm.
probably the hardest thing to do, and it's what we're here for. That's why you're listening to this podcast. That's why we're doing this podcast, because that's the hard thing. But yeah, learning to apply the same compassion to yourself will be really important too. So yeah, I think, is that everything?
I think so.
Okay, well, with that, our next episode is we're gonna be going over and reacting to weight loss ads for the new year, like old stuff, vintage stuff, new stuff, the good stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be wild. We're excited about it. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.